Hey, happy 50% off Halloween candy day. Or depending on where you live, maybe it's 75% off. This is the day when all the Halloween candy goes on sale. And if you're a mom like me, you also now have probably bags of candy in your house from your kids trick-or-treating last night. Ironically, I feel like the smaller the kids are, the more people give them stuff. It's like, oh, you're so cute here, and they're throwing more in their bags, and we don't get a ton of trick-or-treaters in our area, so the people are very generous in what they're giving. They're like, take two, take more, here's more. And my boys are like, but literally I have like a dining room table right now with 3 or 4 bags of candy on it. Now, I am not against candy. My kids do eat candy. I love chocolate and I eat candy, so it's a matter of how can we still do this whole thing in moderation, and foods not being good or bad, and not having the whole idea of you can't have that, because I do think that when you restrict, whether it be on candy or, if you try to leave out whole food groups in your meal plan, the more you restrict yourself or say that's off bounds, the harder it is to stay away from it. Our brains are simple in some ways and complex in others, and our brains say the more you tell me I can't have it, the more I want it. So I don't want to create that with my kids. I want them to know, yes, there's going to be candy out there. Yes, you can eat it. It is going to do certain things to your behavior and your body and your teeth and that kind of thing. But here's how we can have candy and have it in moderation and still be healthy. So I saw some ideas online and I wanted to share them. One of the ideas I saw was for things like M&Ms or Reese's Pieces or Smarties in Canada. You could actually bake with them. So if you do holiday baking, or maybe you just bake for an event or for friends or neighbors as a thank you, you could do some cookies and you could put the M&Ms or those small candies in the baking, which I thought was a great idea, rather than sitting down with a container of candy and eating it straight. You can put it in some baked goods. Another good example I saw was, if you've ever seen those cards on Pinterest where you do it's like a code, and it's using the little mini candy bars in it. So like, I love you all the way from Mars, and you put a Mars bar there to Earth or whatever. You could use candy bars up for that. It's kind of a fun and creative gift or idea for somebody. Another idea, so some places or some people do this. I haven't yet, and I'm not sure how I feel about it yet, but they call it the Switch Witch. And with the Switch Witch, they put out all the Halloween candy. They let their kids have what they want of it in one sitting, and then they say, okay, we're going to put the Halloween candy out, and we are going to let you have what you want, and then we're going to leave it out for the Switch Witch, and tomorrow the Switch Witch is going to bring you a small present for your candy. So rather than have the candy, like I said, the jury's still out on how I feel about that one, but I'm not necessarily against it. If you know maybe your kids are really sensitive to certain foods, or they have allergies or those kinds of things, maybe that's something that you'd want to consider. Other ideas, like I said, we put ours in containers, and we put it up high. It's just not something that's out and around, and we try to, have other things accessible, like apples and bananas and fruit slices and veggies that they can grab, because honestly, what child wouldn't say, I want a Mars bar instead of some carrot sticks or an apple, right? So if you make the healthy choices more accessible, when their sweet tooth hits, they have it. They have an apple instead. Now, I am always torn at this time of year. My son's birthday is in November, but another great idea, if you have a kid's birthday coming up in the next, month and a half or 2 months, you could use some of your Halloween candy for treat bags, for giving out as like a party favor after Halloween. So if you want to save it for that, or if you do a lot of road trips and you want to keep a few sweet treats or maybe little bags of chips and that kind of thing for when you travel, it's not a bad idea over the holidays too. Obviously, you don't want those kinds of snacks to be the bulk of what your kids are eating. But like I said, if you're not restricting them and it's not in moderation, I do believe you're teaching them that there's no such thing as good food or bad food. There's just food. And certain foods do certain things to our bodies. And if we are aware of that, then it's good. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I feel like I'm in the post trick-or-treating coma, not from the candy or the chocolate, but just the excitement of it all, getting into their costumes and running door to door and being out in the cold. So I wanted to share those tips with you guys. If you have any other tips, please add them in the comments. The more ideas I have and other moms have, I think that's great. So have a great Wednesday and take care.